What's going on, everybody's fragged out, swagged out, and you already know why I'm here. Today, I have a review for you from a company that really only has 3 different fragrances, but I've smelled 2/3 of that house already, and it is amazing. The kind of oud fragrances that they make are so deep and so rich, and I like what they're doing. Hopefully, they come out with a couple of more variations of the use of oud with um, other notes. But the house I'm talking about is Marble Oud, and the fragrance I have for you today is Osmanthus Vert and Oud Malaysia. And so if you don't know about Marble Oud is a joint effort between Katana and Giuseppe Parfums. Um, and they went out to create some of the best oud fragrances you're going to find on the market. So for me, this house right here is like the niche inside of niche. And regardless of what your favorite reviewer has told you a niche fragrance is or is not, I don't leave things like that to opinion. Words mean things and they have definitions. A niche is a specialized segment of a market for a particular kind of product or service. Doesn't mean it's high quality, doesn't mean it's low quality. I'm not going to get into all of that with you right now and go back and forth on what you think niche is. I just told you what the definition is. Anyway, with that said, if you make only fragrance, you are a niche perfumer. Indie, luxury, whatever, you're a niche perfumer, right? That's what your house is. Now, if you, within fragrance, only work within one particular kind of note that you specialize in this case being oud, and if you go to Marble's website on the, it says bringing the finest artisanal agarwood of the world, right? So that sounds like niche to me. That sounds like they're only specializing in niche fragrances. So that's why I say the niche inside the niche. Like it, don't like it, whatever. I'm telling you what it is. Okay, so getting back to the fragrance and off that tangent, this is a lovely fragrance. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a fragrance that's for everybody, because it's not. In fact, Marble Oud is not for everybody. And why? It's kind of in the name. If you don't like oud, you're probably not going to really gravitate to this brand. But if you do like, and if you love oud, the things they do here are pretty amazing. So like I told you, I think about a month ago, I did a review on Noe, and that was the nutty, kind of chocolatey oud fragrance they had. This one right here goes a fruitier route, a little spicy, but again, another amazing fragrance and very nice atomizer. I think the camera actually caught it. Oh, wow, yeah. So this, again, I want to be very clear. This is coming from a person and a nose that appreciates oud. If you don't like oud, then a lot of the adjectives I may use here may not really apply to you in terms of how you would perceive it if you smelt it, right? So let's talk about the notes really quickly. Here on the web page, it says the primary notes are Malaysian oud, osmanthus, elemi, and apricot. So those are the primary notes. That doesn't mean that's all the notes, but those are the primary notes. And the oud itself is a Borneo Malaysian oud, 4 days fermentation, hydro distilled in copper. It's a very rich, dense Borneo. And if you know about oud, and you know about Malaysian oud, and you know about Borneo, you know what to expect. And this does not disappoint in terms of expectations. So, what I get when I first spray this. First thing I will say is this is a tale of 2 notes for the most part. Are there other things going on? Absolutely. There's main notes, there's mid, there's bass, there's supporting notes that help other things happen. But when I smell this, it tells me 2 things. Borneo oud and an apricot, peachy kind of fruity mix. And that's from the opening. Right off the bat, you're going to get that very fruity, kind of juicy, kind of apricot, peach leaning, but it doesn't go super, super fruity to where someone who doesn't like fruity notes are going to be like, this is off-putting, because that Borneo oud is so strong in here, so pronounced, so thick, so rich. It really fills the body of the fragrance. And that Elemi adds this nice resinous spiciness to the peach or apricot note that I'm getting. So it's a spicy, fruity element with a very rich, dense oud fragrance. Now, I like to give not necessarily comparisons, but reference points. If you've ever smelled Sayat Nova from Bortnikov, and oddly enough, last time I spoke about marble oud, I said that in terms of luxury or quality, brands like Bortnikov come to mind. And this fragrance does hint to Sayat Nova. Now, what I will say is that Sayat Nova does stay very fruity, maybe more for, you don't have to be an oud lover necessarily. It is dark, but it does its own thing. This is more of an oud fragrance, but it has that peachy fruitiness in the background, which makes it, I would even say it makes it more pleasant even for those that don't necessarily love oud. Is it Sayat Nova clone? No. Are they that similar? No. But do they have similar aspects that can, which, you know, I feel free to say that it does remind me, at least in the opening, of how that fruity apricot peach vibe works together with that oud and balances it out really nice. Again, this is not something that I would say a beginner oud. This is not something I would say that even if you don't like oud, you're going to love this one. You probably still won't, because the things you don't like about oud, which are typically the things that oud lovers do like, is that density, that heavy, very rich, woody scent profile that's amplified by the fact that it goes through the entire distillation and fermentation process. It's very unique. If you've never tried oud, so it's not something I'll try to sell you on, but I will tell you that if you're interested in ouds and if you want to get into quality ouds, then Marble is definitely a good place to look into. Now, the price point, again, is not a beginner fragrance collector, or if you're into oud, it's definitely not the beginner price point. But on Sealed Essence, which is where I buy my Giusettes, my Bortnikovs, my Marble now, they kind of specialize in getting some of those brands which aren't necessarily readily available on the other online retailers. So if the brand is on other retailers, it's probably not going to be on Sealed Essence, and they keep it that way for a reason. Again, another niche kind of inside of a niche. They're going to give you the brands that you can't necessarily get everywhere else. So when you go to Sealed Essence website, these bottles, depending on the concentration, whether it's parfum concentration or the attars, you're going anywhere from $215 to $415. So it's got to be something that you're committed to and that you really want to explore, number one, or two, that you smelled it already and you're sure you want to put your money towards that. In my opinion, from what I've smelled so far from Marble, there's only one more fragrance that I'm missing from their collection. That is the Jasmine Noir and Oud Bengali. I'm typically not a fan of animalic jasmines, but I do want to get my nose on it just because these two have been so, when I say these two, I'm holding one. These two, golly, I don't edit, so don't expect me to. These two right here have been so amazing, and I like what I got out of these. Very high quality, luxury, leaning oud fragrances. You really feel like you're getting your money's back from these fragrances, in my opinion. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money or how you feel after a purchase that I'm in love with. I'm just telling you that personally, if oud is something that you're really into and you've already invested money in other oud fragrances, then this is a good place to go next. That's really all I have for you guys today. Very straight to the point. Again, oud, Elemi, apricot. Bang. Yeah, an amazing, amazing fragrance. If you watched this far into the video and you're still here with me, and you feel that I've left something out because you smelled it already, or you want to ask a question, go ahead and leave it in the comment. If you like what you've seen so far and you want to see more content like this, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed currently, please consider it, because again, if you love fragrances, especially niche, more obscure fragrances, stuff that you're not going to find at your Macy's counter, stuff like the stuff you see in the back, then I'm going to review all of this eventually. Give me time, and if you have a request, go ahead and leave it, and I'll eventually get to that as well. Thank you very much, and once again, this is Fragged Out, Swagged Out, and I'm out.